All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 1 of medical terminology. I'm sorry it's thundering here, and my doctor, Roxy, is very afraid. So she's going to help me teach you all about medical terminology. And I'm so glad that you're able to join me today. Um, Learning this is very important, not only to your future career. And remember, it doesn't matter where in healthcare you decide to work, medical terminology is the language of the land. All right. And because I have yet to find anyone that was raised with medical terminology being their first language. Thank you for the smile. I appreciate that. Okay, so we all have to kind of learn it together. And the thing that I love about this is it not only helps you in your future career, but it will help you as a person, because at some point you're going to be a patient, or at some point you're going to be the loved one of a patient. And it's good to be able to understand what people are talking about, especially when it's about you, your body, and what's happening to it. Okay, so you'll notice that on our first slide here, you have me. I'm Dr. Shelley Safian. And we also have Ms. Johnson here, because we're all learning the same thing. We just have multiple sections of the same class. So I told Ms. Johnson, why don't you let me talk to everybody? So we welcome all of the CCTC students who are learning medical terminology this term, okay? Does anyone have any questions to start off? Okie dokie. Then first we have some housekeeping, which are related to the course, not medical terminology alone. First of all, even though this course is 16 weeks long, it ends the beginning of December, and the attendance is very important. You are only allowed 2 absences through the entire semester, okay? And that means 2 separate weeks where you do not have any participation, you have not submitted any graded work. You can't hear anything. You're going to try something else real quick. Okay, try logging off and logging back in again. I know that you did that already. Unplug your headset and replug it in maybe, or check your settings on your computer. Okay, all right, so attendance, you're only allowed 2 absences. The third absence, which is done weekly, the third absence, you will automatically be withdrawn from the course. Okay, I post the attendance to the registrar on Tuesday, because our weeks end each and every Monday at 11:59 p.m. So you have that extra day, all right? But I'm going to tell you something. If you have plans for the weekend, like a family reunion or whatever, do yourself the favor of getting your homework done earlier. And that way you can enjoy yourself over the weekend without having the pressure of, oh, it's Monday, I got to get, and I got to get my homework done. Okay. It's just, nobody does their best work under extraordinary pressure. Well, unless you're the SWAT team, or, unless you're a member of the Navy SEALs. Anybody member of the SEALs? You're a member of the SEALs? No. Could you smile for me? Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. The best browser to use is Chrome. Now, I'm not saying none of the other will work, but you will have fewer technological issues if you use Chrome for accessing the course as well as the work on Connect, okay? And I don't know about you, but I definitely prefer less technical difficulties than more. It's like nothing can make me more frustrated faster than technical stuff not working. All right, I skipped over homework and testing. If you have a valid reason for missing a deadline for homework or for a test, a valid reason, I can reopen once for you over the course of this semester. All right, this is really important because you know how it is learning a new language when you're an adult. I mean, the best time to learn a new language is between the ages of 1 and 5. And I'm pretty sure that all of you are older than 5, than this many, right? Okay, thanks. A little smile, just a little. The bad jokes are coming. I'm just warning you, all right? Because I inherited my father's sense of humor. Thank you, Dad. So it just is part of what we are, all right? And if we're not going to have fun, I don't want to do it. I'm just saying. All right. So passing in this course is a final grade of 74.5 or higher. All right. So just so that you know, because this is healthcare and it is important. All right. Any questions about any of these 5 things that are going on? No? Good. All right. I got one more thing that's going to be different from previous courses if you have taken previous courses with us. Each week, put it on your calendar. Each week, we're going to have this Zoom at 12:30 on Thursday every week. Okay? Yes, except for the week of Thanksgiving, because I'll probably be making a turkey. Okay, but we'll deal with it that week, okay? All right, so every Thursday, 12:30, be here, and we will go over things together based on what you're learning that week, and I want you to bring your questions. I am not allowed to put the Zoom links in the announcement board like I did this week. I'm only allowed to do that week 1. From now on, the links to the recordings, and we're recording this, and I will record all future, will be under content, under the content menu. You see the blue arrow toward the top in the Zoom folder, and you see the blue arrow pointing to the left. Okay. That's where you will find the link to get in here each Thursday at 12:30. And that's where you will find the link for the recording for the live chat that we're doing, okay? So everything will be in that folder, very neat and tidy, but not in your face. So I will send out an email reminding you, but you also, you know, this is the bad thing about not being this old anymore, okay? You're adults, plan it, be it, and know, and I'm gonna say this many, many times, know that I am in my CCTC email every day, 7 days a week. So you email me, I promise you a response within 24 hours. So whatever you need, whatever question you have, whatever I'm not sure I understand, or how do you do this, whatever it is, email me and I'm here to help you. I'm on your side, okay? All right, any questions about this? How about a yes? Yes, yes, no, no questions? Thank you very much. That's the thing about Zoom, I can see your faces. All right. One more thing before we get on to the purpose of medical terminology is I really want you to do this. Create a contingency plan. Because stuff happens. That's why they made the bumper sticker. It doesn't say stuff though. It says another word, but I'm not allowed to say that word. Okay. You like caca. I grew up in New York. That's the word in New York is caca. All right. So anyway, the point is stuff happens and hurricanes come and drunk people drive into utility poles and all kinds of things. So I want you to this week make a contingency plan. Okay. I want you to make a contingency plan. What if you lose power to your house or if you lose internet service? One, the other, both. Okay, well, if you lose power, you're going to lose your internet, but you know what I'm saying, all right? So I want you to talk to your family, your friends, your neighbors, where you might be able to go over and use their power or their internet or their so that you can upload your homework or do your homework on Connect and get it and keep learning, okay? Local public libraries, I understand, are open again, so you can go there and they not only have power and internet, they have computers that you can use. So that goes in the next one too. And local restaurants, if you have a laptop or you can borrow a laptop, you can go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Panera Bread. There are a gazillion places that have free Wi-Fi. Okay, so very important that you plan, you know where to go. And remember, each week you have 7 whole days to get your work done. So you can plan, okay, our power is out. I can go to Wendy's, have a chocolate frosty while I do my homework. How fantastic is that? That's a good idea. Let's go now. Oh, no, because I'm on a desktop and I'm hooked up. Okay, I'm corded. All right. The other thing I want you to think about is what if your computer passes away in the middle of the night? It's very sad, but how do you attend an online class and get your online work done when you don't have a computer? Okay, so again, family, friends, neighbors, where you can go and get your work done. Also, this is not a commercial for Air and Rent-A-Center. Any of those places that rent furniture in your area, most of them now also rent laptops. So while your computer is being fixed, you can rent a laptop for a week or two if you can't find one to borrow. And for those of you who live within the area of Sumter, South Carolina, CCTC's computer lab is open to you. So you can always go there and get your work done on a CCTC computer. Okay, the point is as responsible adults, and I know it goes back to sometimes I kind of wish I was this old again, but the fact is that we have to be responsible and get the work done. And this is very important to start this habit of thinking and planning ahead, especially when we work in healthcare, because again, it doesn't matter where you work in healthcare, we are part of the care team for every patient. We are involved in the care of every patient that comes to the doctor's office where you work or the hospital where you're going to work. So this is important that you start establishing your thinking ahead. What if? Okay. All right. Before I get started in the medical terminology portion of our program, anybody got any questions? Thank you. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is I strongly recommend you get yourself a medical dictionary. And I strongly recommend that you get a paper medical dictionary. Now, I know it's very, very old fashioned. Okay. And you do here have the link to an online Merriam-Webster medical dictionary, and definitely go ahead and make that, you know, a bookmark or favorite, whatever. All right. But I want you to have the paper dictionary because I have 5 different medical dictionaries within arm's length of my desk. Okay. And the reason for that is, especially when you are working with case studies and information online, it can be cumbersome to click over and open a new tab. Sometimes if you might be in a test or something, it won't let you open a new tab. Okay. But you always have access to your paper book. And this will also help you when you're working offline. Okay. Not everything you do has to be online. You should have your textbook as well. Okay. So you have reading to do on paper or electronic. You should have the choice. Okay. But this is going to make a huge difference, not only in this class, but in all the classes. Because I'll tell you what I have found. If you look up the same word 4 or 5 times, it will stick in your brain and then you'll know it forever. Okay. Even with all the years that I have been working in healthcare and working with medical terminology, I still have some words that I know like that. Like patella, I know that's my kneecap. That's a kneecap, okay? However, sometimes I kind of sort of remember, but I'm not sure I remember. Now, as an instructor, I will always look it up because I never ever want to give you wrong information. And I'm not that egotistical that I think everything is in my head, because my brain has a lot of things to think about, especially these days. Okay. Accuracy is absolute in healthcare. So here's what I do. If I'm not quite sure, I think I know what that means, I'll go look it up. And if I look it up and I was right, that I knew the answer, I do a little happy dance real quick, 5 seconds. Happy dance. See, look how smart I am. I feel so good. Okay. Then if I was wrong and I was misremembering, you know what I do? I now know what the correct answer is, and nobody knows that I didn't know. So now still everybody thinks I'm smart. What do you think of that? So take advantage. This is not I just give you this to show you that Amazon.com has the Merriam-Webster Medical Dictionary paperback for just over $6. Okay. So, you know, hopefully, and there are more buying choices for $2.30. Wow. Okay. So hopefully money will not stand in your way. And they haven't really kind of sort of changed medical language in 2,000 years, 3,000 years. I don't really know. I wasn't there at the beginning, but thank you. But so what I'm saying is you can buy this and it will last you even once you graduate and you go on the job. Carry it with you all the time, because you will appear to be you will be smart, but you will appear to be smarter. Okay. So just saying. All right. So what you're going to learn first, in the first couple of weeks, you're going to learn about how medical terms are constructed. Most of them have pieces parts. Okay. And what that means is they're constructed with a prefix, a root, and a suffix. And that is very handy, because you can then, if you encounter a word that you are not familiar with, and for some reason your dictionary is not nearby, you can work to figure out what the word means. And that can be very helpful. Okay. A prefix is like an adjective. So it might say anemia, for example. AN means without. Emia means blood. Now, it doesn't mean, anemia doesn't mean without blood. It means without iron in the blood. But that was a bad example. But I have better examples coming up. Okay. The root is the anatomical site, and the suffix is going to further define what is going on with that anatomical site. Okay. So you're going to have exercises where you're going to practice this. But the good news is that as you learn what these parts are, so for example, when you learn that the suffix itis, I-T-I-S, you know that means inflammation right away, which also tells you that that word is a diagnosis explaining what is wrong with this patient, what needs to be fixed, as opposed to a suffix like ectomy, which means to surgically remove, which tells you this is a procedural term. Okay. And I don't want to give you too much because I want you to take it one small bite at a time. The little circle. Here we go. So not all medical terms have prefixes, but as you learn, as you experience, you will get to know some of them, like ankle-ly, which means fused or stiffened. Anti, which is a very common, means in front of. Now, this is a tricky one, and the reason why I included it is because I don't want you to look at A-N-T-E and think A-N-T-I, which means against. Okay, A-N-T-E just means in front of, like ante-mortem. Mortem means death. Ante-mortem means before death. Okay, gyna, woman or female. So anything that begins with gyna, you know, is relating to the female body. And tachy is a prefix that means fast or rapid. So tachycardia, tachy means fast, cardia means heart. So it means that the heart is beating too fast, faster than normal. So you see how you're going to learn these parts, and then you'll be able to figure out the meaning of the terms. The root is the anatomical site. And we are very specific as to what the body part is. So like I just said, cardio means heart. Salping means fallopian tubes. I know. So if you know somebody who had a salpingectomy, anybody put that together with what I said before? Do you know what that means now? Turn your mic on.
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Yes, ma'am. It means to take out the fallopian tube.
Very good. Surgically take out the fallopian tubes or remove the fallopian tubes. That's important that this is done by a surgeon as opposed to the result of an accident. Okay. Myo means muscle. Nephro means kidney. So if you know somebody or you're reading somebody has nephritis, can you put that together for me with what I told you itis means before?
Inflammation of the kidney.
Very good. A kidney infection. Oh. All right. And neuro refers to the nervous system. Okay. So you see how we're learning parts and we're putting stuff together. Algesia. So if you know that, if you're looking at a medical term that ends in algesia, you know that this patient is having pain. Based on the root of the word will tell you where the pain is. Okay. Anything ending in emia is relating to the blood. Itis, as you've already learned, is inflammation. Lepsy, seizure. And stenosis is narrowing. Okay. So if somebody has coronary artery stenosis, it means that their coronary arteries, the blood vessels that lead away from the heart, are narrowed. Now, they may be narrowed by collapse. They may be narrowed by plaque building inside it's kind of like if you're driving on the interstate, okay, and 2 of the 3 lanes are blocked off because of construction, that is interstate highway stenosis. They don't call it that. I call it that because it helps me remember. Okay. If there's an accident that blocks off the whole roadway, that would be an obstruction. All right. So I do that because it helps me remember the meanings of the words and the pieces parts of the words. Okay. Spelling is critical. Now, I know when you're texting to your friends and you're posting online and social media, nobody cares about spelling except for me. It drives me nuts. Okay. But this is why, because in healthcare, one little letter can change everything. Here's an example. Aphasia. It even sounds exactly the same. Both of these terms are pronounced aphasia. But if it's spelled with an S, it means the patient is neurologically unable to form speech. Okay. Usually a manifestation, or I'm sorry, it's a late effect or a sequela of a cerebrovascular accident or a stroke. Okay. But aphasia with a G is the inability to swallow. So you can see that just that one letter not only changes the entire meaning of the word, it changes which body system the patient has affected. Okay. So very, very important that you pay attention, slow down, and pay attention to the way things are spelled. Okay. Also, I just want to kind of give you the heads up that in healthcare, just like probably everything else in your life, computers, technology are part of everything that we do. Okay. In the olden days, when somebody would review a written form, like a claim form, for example, okay, they could say, oh, I see what she meant. She spelled the patient's name wrong. She spelled Tracy with a Y instead of an I, but I see all the other information is correct, so I know who you're talking about, okay? In 2021 and forward, everything is reviewed by computer. Computers are very literal. If you spell Tracy with a Y and Tracy spells it with an I, that claim will be rejected. We don't know who that is. I'm serious, okay? And some places don't even take the time to review why the claim was rejected. They just send the bill to the patient. Drives me nuts, okay? So, and the patient doesn't know. The patient is only told, well, your insurance company denied the claim. You have to pay for it. But how would the patient know? Well, you misspelled my name on the claim form or when you put it in the computer to begin with. I don't care your sister's name spells it with a Y instead of an I. Okay. I am serious. This is all real life stuff. So you need to pay attention to where your fingers are on the keyboard and start right now. Double check everything that you just typed before you hit that submit button. Fix your own mistakes, just like I do with my dictionary. When I look it up and I was wrong, I now can be correct and nobody knows I was wrong. So if you misspelled something and you correct it before you hit the submit button, guess what? Nobody knows you were wrong. Everybody knows you were right. See? How wonderful. If you can't be smart, act smart. I don't really know what that means either. Okay. Here's another example. So you know I wasn't just picking on one thing. Ilium and ilium, again, pronounced exactly the same. But with an E, that refers to the end of the small intestine, right before it gets to the appendix. Okay, right here. It's right here. Right here. Okay, on the right side. All right, but ileum with an I is not part of the gastrointestinal system. It's part of the skeletal system. It's the uppermost part of the pelvis, which means it's a bone. Look, they did not invite me to the meeting where they decided how to spell all the words and what all the words should mean. Okay, because I would have objected to this, but they didn't invite me to the meeting. Of course, that was several thousands of years ago. I don't know what I was busy that day. I don't know. All right. So one last thing I want to plant in your heads before you dive in, and that is abbreviations and acronyms. Never, 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 never assume that everybody understands what you mean by whatever that abbreviation is. Okay. You may be working in healthcare right now. You may be working in a hospital or a doctor's office, and they always use this particular abbreviation. That does not mean that same abbreviation means the same thing in the facility across town. Okay. Very important that when you use an abbreviation, you make sure that everyone understands. So the first time you use it, you might want to explain, or the first time you read it in your homework, you might want to look it up in the dictionary. In the back, they have all the abbreviations. They also have the suffixes and the prefixes and the root operation. Okay. So for example, AC, that abbreviation can be used to mean before meals, as in a direction on how to take medication, okay? Or it may refer to the anterior chamber of the heart, or it may refer to acromyoclavicular, which is right here by your clavicle. Okay. CVA, not CVS, the pharmacy. CVA may stand for cerebrovascular accident, or it may stand for costovertebral angle. Don't assume. IM can mean intramuscular, it can mean intramedullary, or it can mean internal medicine. NSD, normal spontaneous delivery, that would be in reference to a woman giving birth, just in case you were wondering, not lunch, okay? Or it could mean normal standard dose. So, especially now, you are on the ground floor learning this language, I want you to learn correctly, because then that information will be with you forever. Forever as a healthcare professional in whatever role you choose to take, and forever as a patient, forever as the loved one of a patient. Okay, I'm going to tell you one quick story. True story, one of my proudest moments as a daughter. Okay, my father, 91 years old, was in the ICU, and he was a dentist. My mother was a social worker, and she was at the time, let's see, she would have been 86. There was a 5-year difference. So she was 86, and we were there in his hospital room, and standing at the foot of his bed, three of his doctors came in all at the same time, which was, you know, if you've ever been with a patient in a hospital, that's like forever miracle. Okay, so my mother and I are standing at the foot of my father's bed, talking about his condition, talking about his prognosis, talking about what their recommendations were, like that. Okay. And we finish the conversation and the doctors leave. And my mother turns to me and she says, "How did you just have that conversation with them?" And I said, "Mom," and at the time I was a medical coder and a health information management professional, I have to know the language. I have to know what the doctors are talking about. It's part of my job. And she was, and I tell you that she was a social worker, so you know, she was an educated woman who worked in healthcare, and she was proud of me, and I was proud of myself that I was able to contribute to helping in my father's care. Okay. So I just want you to remember that there is a great deal of benefit, both professionally in your future as well as personally, for you to really pay attention in this class and to really learn. Okay. All right. I am in my CCTC email box every day, 7 days a week. I promise you a response within 24 hours. Okay. For those of you who are in Miss Johnson's sections, she also checks her CCTC email at least once a day. She sometimes is in there more often than I am. I promise within 24 hours. Both of us care very much about helping you and helping you make sure that you have what you need to learn and get value from this class other than one step closer to graduation. Okay. When you have questions or concerns, or you're confused, or you're not sure, we can email back and forth. I like this because you can email me your questions. I can email you back answers, and then you can print them out and have them for your future reference. Okay. Or we can set up an appointment to speak on the phone. We can set up an appointment to do a one-on-one Zoom. We can Skype, we can FaceTime. I am technologically versatile. Okay. The point is I'm here to support you and your learning. Excuse me. And of course, we're going to do this every Thursday at 12:30. And you can always bring your questions here. Okay. So I'm here for you, and I want to help you learn. Do not let yourself get frustrated, because nobody learns when they're frustrated. Okay. Just email me. We'll walk through it together. All right. Any questions? Not yet? Now, have a good day. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week. I'll see you in the class, whatever you need. Okay.